Week 2 of my stay with Sophie started where week 1 left off. All of those months of building positive associations with the people around her using food were now paying off. She was actively seeking me out for play and displays of affection. Now we had play, one of the biggest indicators you can get that a dog is comfortable with the situation they are in, and the most valuable currency for Sophie, belly rubs. And more belly rubs. Play and belly rubs. And belly rubs. And belly rubs. And more belly rubs. And another belly rub, just for good measure. Now let's talk about why that's significant. It shows that Sophie is now confident in me. I'm no longer the source of her anxiety. There are still plenty of things that do trouble her, but now there is value in interacting with me that I can use to build further positive associations to places, noises, and unfamiliar objects such as her harness and her lead. But we'll come to that later.
There it is.
I steadily built up her tolerance to sudden movements and percussive noises, something she's particularly bothered by. But I took my cues from her as to when she wanted contact and affection. Every opportunity for that built her confidence in me further and put some emotional money in the emotional bank account. We worked on engagement with toys and built in close contact and sudden movements from me, while we took advantage of her growing curiosity to encourage her to follow me into the garden and into the newly discovered front of the house. Play has become the basis for most of our interaction. I'll double down on that with food when she shows interest in it, but that can be short-lived with Sophie. But of course, we don't get to choose what rocks their world. They do.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Now, let's talk about that lead. Nothing's easy about it. She's highly sensitized to it, as you can see here. In truth, I shouldn't have spent as much time with it in week 2 as I did.
Hello. Hello, sweetheart.
I should have looked at the harness first and then put the lead on the harness, but we are where we are. I've made more progress over the second week with the harness than the lead, and Rory and Diane will be able to build on that, I'm sure. More and more often, I've used physical contact rather than food to make those important positive associations for Sophie. Once she has confidence in me, the play and the affection really are the best currencies with which to make progress with her. Show her the item, give affection, remove the item, end the affection. Rinse and repeat. I've used some of her longer toys to get her used to things moving next to her and around her head, and I've even laid them across her back so that she might get used to the sensations similar to those of her harness. And I've continued to mix food with physical affection. As Sophie has grown more curious about the things I'm doing around the house, so I have discovered the things she finds fun. That in turn has meant she'll play with me and engage with me elsewhere.
There's a good girl. There's a good girl. Who's my good girl? Hey? Who's my good girl? What is it? Oh, what is it? Oh, thank you. Oh, hee hee hee. Hee hee hee. Hello, Treeks. Hello, Treeks. Do you want another bit of that while you're here? There you go. Oh, what was that? A little bit. Ta.
So, what about those beds? Well, once she discovered the pleasure of the first one in the kitchen, the place she had chosen as her favourite, the challenge became moving it to a more practical location. I did this by periodically taking it to the front room and settling her in it there with me. Then I would return it to the kitchen, then back to the front room to spend time with me, and then one day as I returned it to the kitchen, I stopped short and put it in the dining room. I then ruffled the bed vigorously, something Sophie sees as a play invite, and from there she lay down in it and settled. The same playful behaviour encouraged her to explore the second bed, and ultimately she would choose to settle in it if it were the nearest one to me. Which brings us to the matter of the outside world. I set up a dog gate at the front door at the beginning of the second week, and as she and I made regular excursions there, I always gave Sophie choice, as I have done throughout. She has the choice to engage or not, to leave or stay. That way she can habituate to those challenging new discoveries without ever being made to feel conflicted or stressed. It wasn't a straight line graph with the front door any more than it has been with any of the other things she has encountered for the first time. But with that freedom to choose has come ever-growing curiosity. And so now I'll leave you just to watch Sophie discovering and exploring her new world and becoming ever more curious. And then there's a little reminder at the end of just how playful this beautiful young dog has become.
Hello? There's a good girl. Who's a good girl? Is it you? Who's a good girl? Oh, is it you? Yeah.
All of these places I've been, they don't feel like forever. But each step I'm taking, it seems like I'm finding myself. Oh, 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 oh. I've searched for gold and I've uncovered all kinds of treasure, but I